we've made our way to the depths of Grass Valley. I've never been out to your shop, and it's 30 minutes from WFO. And we are sitting here with Brendon Thompson.
Yep.
So, Brendon, you are planning on racing 4400 and 4800 this year at King of the Hammers, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. 4400 single seat, basically, and then 4800 two seat that's just been converted from an old 4400 car.
So we'll do a little backstory first. We're in Grass Valley, California. Once again,
Nevada City.
You call this Nevada City?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh, sorry. Nevada City, California.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So.
Beautiful drive to get up here. You've lived here most of your life, right?
Yeah, for about 23, 24 years, roughly.
And I remember when we first started WFO, you guys had a little shop up in Grass Valley, and then you've always been doing, fabrication, and your skill is metalwork, right?
Yeah, basically taking a flat sheet, forming it, shaping it, turning it into a gas tank. Basically work of art for motorcycles.
And so your day job, as we would call it, is building sheet metal fenders and parts for motorcycles.
Yeah, 24/7 I'm basically doing motorcycle parts.
And all the people who followed American Choppers back in the day, you were on that show, a bunch of times,
yeah,
right?
About 10, 12 years I was the main fabricator for Paul Jr. on his side when it was senior versus junior.
After they split up to senior versus junior,
yep.
you would fly out there and you guys would build a bike, and you'd do all the sheet metal fab.
Every 2 weeks for 10 plus years.
Every 2 weeks, yep. So
there and back.
So in a sense, you're famous.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
You've been on TV.
Once or twice. I've been in some commercials.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah, we can say that.
And which he does actually have a big head physically, but we've known you through all those years, and you don't have a big head. You're just a regular guy in here. We're in your shop here, and this is where you work out of by yourself, right?
Yeah, basically, I don't ever see like the general public, so it's like I don't deal with customers. I just deal with them on the phone, and then I just build my parts, put them in a box,
ship them out the
UPS,
door.
And it's generally I'm getting to UPS at like 8:30 at night. 'Cause I'm super ADD when it comes to stuff because I'll start playing with the race cars and
it's always last minute, right?
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
And then your brother is Joe Thompson, correct?
Yeah, and we're the total opposite. 100%.
So we have two kind of famous people related in our community, right?
Yeah, he's in Georgetown now. He was.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're a little more notorious than Joe Thompson, but in the off-road world, he's the man.
Yeah, he's the leader right now. It seems like.
Yeah.
And super smart guy. Can't deny it. And I'm just glad he's my brother because I'm able to get some cool cars out of him.
So that leads us to the next thing, right? So this is your old car right here.
Yeah, we actually built this car sitting right here on a chassis table before Joe was really famous in the off-road world. I mean, he was known, obviously, but he was really trying to get pushed out there, and he had a lot of cool ideas and was able to get stepped up into stuff.
There's a lot of technology and ideas in this that has morphed into the new, Joe Thompson IFS cars, for sure. I mean, just weird stuff. Like, his brain never stops thinking.
Yeah, he's always, I call him crackpot, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's just always trying to make something better. And like myself, I'd be, it's good, let's just leave it. And he's like, it's got to get better and change it. He can never leave anything just alone. So, but it's a good thing because he's always making improvements. He's always trying to up the ante on everything and make people win.
I mean, a rear engine car, solid axle with what we call leading arms. Everybody has trailing arms, but this thing had leading arms. So
yeah,
which is basically a trailing arm on the front axle, right?
Exactly. And when we were originally building it, he wanted to maybe do an IFS car. He was talking, but
it was just a thought in his mind.
My arms were short. I didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just do a straight axle, and then because I thought it'd be better, but
so
it has its good and bad.
You got family, friends, everybody was coming over here at night building this car, and you thrashed a bunch to get this car going, and it was on a shoestring budget.
100%.
This thing has a 205 transfer case in it.
Yeah. Flipped around backwards, and we raced it in low range.
Yeah, I got you.
crazy.
Yeah, always in low range because
Low
it's
range.
a 1.9 gear reduction.
Yeah, so
the
the 4L80.
The motor was always screaming.
Yeah, and it sounded like it was going fast, but you
Yeah.
weren't really going fast.
So let's talk about King of the Hammers. So we know you from up here, from
Yep.
Fordyce, from 20 years of basically being in the building world, and you guys raced.
I bought Kevin Yoder's old 454.
So I
buggy
remember
chassis
right when I started the shop.
for $200.
I remember you guys bought his chassis
Yeah.
that had a big block Chevy in it and an SM465 4-speed when he owned it,
Yeah,
and then you built that up.
we put a Toyota motor in it.
You took the big block out. How un-American is that?
I don't even know. He had it sitting out there at my old boss. Like, he lived out by my old boss, and he had it sitting out back, and he was like, "I'll sell that thing." And we were like, "Yeah, let's go," because we only had an '81 Toyota. With
You're a young kid. You're
crawler.
a young kid looking up to Kevin Yoder, and he had a chassis. Right?
Yeah, and I think it was like when he was first going to race King of the Hammers, and we were like, what he told me was, "I'm gonna go race this thing called King of the Hammers." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "How the hell you get a?"
So that was in 08.
I was like, "How did you get invited to that?" And he goes, "I told him I'm Kevin Yoder," and I was like, "Okay, I get it." And he was like, and I was like, "You want to sell that chassis?" He's like, "Yeah."
And didn't you guys put like 49s on that thing?
We put a
or something?
49s Toyota dual cases and Dana 60 and a 70.
Yeah, 60 and a 70. I mean, it was obnoxious.
And it's awesome.
And you guys took it to Fordyce every weekend and wheeled it and broke it.
Yeah, knocked myself out in it a couple times. It was good.
Yeah.
We were solid.
So I remember selling you guys parts during that time.
100%.
And I barely knew Joe, but I knew you because you were coming down. And you guys just had the drive to just, if you couldn't figure it out, you'd build it, you'd change it, you'd tweak it. And there wasn't a lot of money being spent. It was just junkyard diving, finding, cars to take apart, steel engines, all that.
Whatever you could.
Which is
Have
still
fun.
pretty much the same, just to another level, huh?
Yeah, it's just different cars.
Yeah, different cars.
Way
Some of
more
the things in
expensive
the
cars.
shop, your hand-built heater for the shop, the hand-built steam cleaner out there. A lot of your tools are built. Right?
Yeah, just because I'm sort of cheap when it comes to things. And the
You
steam
shouldn't
cleaner,
say cheap. You like to say you make things affordably.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really bitchin' steam or pressure washer, and my buddy had a carpet cleaning machine, so I was like, "Hey,
Just
let me
put
get
'em
that
together.
heater." I put them together, and now I have a steam cleaner. Worked out
So
perfect.
let's go back to King of the Hammers.
Yep.
So you started in rock crawling locally around here. You built some rad stuff, and then you kind of morphed into this car, which is a total innovator at its time. And you heard about King of the Hammers when Yoder was going down
Yeah.
there, and so you guys showed up. Do you remember the first year you showed up to King of the Hammers?
Yeah, we went down there. I wasn't racing. Colton and I took a Dodge, and Tracy Jordan kicked us out of his spot because he said he was pissed that we parked in his trailer spot.
Was there a real Hammer Town or anything like
No,
that?
it was like, it wasn't that crazy. And
It was just a row of trucks
We were
and
just there to
trailers.
help.
Yeah.
And that was way back in the day. And then we went to. I went there to watch when I was doing the show in between.
So you
The
were already
show.
filming the show.
Yeah, I went there to watch, and I was supposed to race the year before, but things just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Dave was super cool to let me race. I was going to race a Trent Fab car,
Yeah.
and it was cool,
Yeah.
but never worked out for me on my end.
Yeah.
Couldn't make it. So we showed up, and I was there to watch Jake
Yeah.
Yeoman.
Yeah.
And we were all there.
Another local legend. from
Yeah,
Reno.
in Reno. And
Yeah.
we were all just checking things out, and then the other local legend, Jake Hollenbeck,
Yeah.
he was running his last chance qualifier,
Yeah.
and he was like, broke a transfer case, didn't make it.
Yeah.
Dave Snyder had the idea, well, let's talk to Dave about having Brendon race your car. I never met Hollenbeck before in my life.
So did you guys fix the transfer case?
Oh yeah, he had it fixed and everything, and he was killing it on course. So they made this thing happen with Dave Cole. Like, for me to just show up, they gave me their helmet, the race suit, everything. I think from Randy Sloss, someone won it that year.
That's awesome.
And Jake Hollenbeck I was co-driving with him. And I remember lining up, because I never met him before. We lined up, I either had to start the race or finish the race. And I was like, how do you want to do this, man?
Yeah.
I don't really want to start the race because I don't really know how you...
Yeah.
But
So you rode with him as a co-driver.
Yeah, and he was killing it.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely awesome. I had the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah.
And as soon as we were driving back, I had a LS1 motor at my house.
So you rode with him. Did you guys finish the race?
We broke at Chocolate Thunder.
Okay, so you started the race, broke down.
Yep.
You're on the way home from the Hammers, and you had an LS.
I bought an LS1, and then we
car.
came here and built this car.
And then, was it the next year you went back to the lake bed?
Yep.
And do you know what year that was? Was the first one you drove this car?
I think it was like 2010, maybe 2011.
2010, 2011.
Yeah.
So, since then, have you entered every year?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And tell me how many times you've finished King of the Hammers.
Yeah. No.
You've never finished it, right?
Not in a big car.
Yeah, so you finished it one time when you entered in the UTV
Yep.
and in the Can-Am? Is that what you did? Okay.
I took a brand new Can-Am out 300 miles with my kid.
Yeah.
And we finished, and it was right after the sand hill at the very backside. We were almost to the finish line, and we broke the shocks completely off the car and rubbed the back end completely down because we drug it all the way into Hammertown.
Without the shocks.
It was awesome.
But you finished
100%.
in time.
Yeah.
Okay. So one-time finisher in UTV, zero.
I finished with McGrath too on the UTV. Sorry.
Oh, you with Jeremy McGrath?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty
I
cool.
co-drove with him, and we fixed his first year in the UTV.
So co-driving, you finished with him.
Yep.
But never finished as a driver record. And this is what we're trying to tell people is that, you could have Joe Thompson car design. You could have any race car, you go down there, and everybody has the same chance of finishing, and it's not a good chance.
No, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
It depends how hard you pre-run. You run these cars, like everyone tries to have spare cars, spare parts. No matter how many parts you have, it's like you can have the parts, but they're never where you need them.
Absolutely. So there is something to be said about prep and getting ready, but no amount of prep can prepare you for KOH.
I've taken the car down to nothing. Powder coated frame, knew this, knew that.
Prep everything.
Yeah, and have a U-joint break on the driveline.
Yeah.
Or a yoke snap on back door, and I get stuck there the whole entire race and get used as a winch point.
So this year, you're driving this car, 4400. What's your number?
5150.
50. Oh, it's always been 51. I'm not even asking that.
I gotta keep it.
So race number 5150, 4400.
Yep.
You have an awesome car. You definitely have, all the chances to be up there in the front running in this car if it stays together.
Yeah.
Last year, you brought this car to the lake bed as a brand new build, which is never the greatest idea unless you're Raul Gomez.
Yeah.
And you guys lost an engine, right?
Yep. Wasn't able to qualify. Wasn't able to do any of that because we were on tuning
So
the motor.
all that push to build a brand new car, get it down there, get it tuned before you got there, and
10 miles.
10 miles, you're done. And that's how it is. That's racing, right?
It was a badass 10 miles.
It was
so sick. And what's shitty is I got towed in by that car.
Oh, you had to come have this car tow you? Well,
no, they were racing with me.
Oh, they were racing?
They towed me back from fun.
That'll happen. So you're racing this single-seater, 4400, and you have your son this year racing the old car in the 4800 class, right?
As a driver.
So now it's a father-son deal, right? So
Yep.
you're working into the second generation here.
Yeah, because I'm getting old.
And he's done a bunch of UTV riding.
Yep.
Austin has, right?
Yes.
And or driving. And so this is basically like a oversized UTV, right? 37s.
Yeah, with the new tires and everything about it.
You had to take this from a 4400 car and make it a 4800 car, so you had to take the bypasses off of it. No dual shocks.
Yeah, it was a big controversy because rear engine, never allowed. So they had to vote on stuff and drivers, and it was just a big turmoil thing, social media. Yeah. So we had to take all the bypasses off, put single shocks on it. We put IVPs on it.
Yeah.
And then
it's got 3-inch Fox IVPs.
Yep.
Where did those shocks come from, Brendon?
Well, 2 of the shocks came off of, or came from my brother. The fronts. The backs weren't long enough. So shocks were expensive, hard to get.
On a budget.
And I looked at the back of my Can-Am and took them off the back.
So those shocks came off the Can-Am that's not going down there to race. They went onto this.
Yeah, so we took the shocks off the Can-Am.
Kind of borrowed them, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I cut them and then machined the inside to shorten the bodies to make the shocks fit at full bump on
this
car. Because you can, those are like 18-inch stroke shocks.
And you did all your tuning in your head, right?
Yeah. No, I picked Wayne's brain a little bit.
Yeah.
And he sent me some different valves. And
So those are
springs.
3-inch internal bypass
Yep.
Foxes.
Slightly different than the race series, but very, 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 very close.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to work good.
And you're co-driving with Austin, right?
Yes.
So that also gives you an advantage because you're going to be out there on the course a couple days before, and then you'll be fresh when you go back out. You've already been on the course.
It's the day before.
It is the day before, yeah.
So,
Which I've done that. It's almost always the day before. So I've co-driven the 4800 and the 4400, and it's a lot on your body. But I'm telling you what, when you get out of the gate there on Saturday morning in 4400, it's going to be fresh on your mind.
yeah, and I mean, I'm terrible about remembering. I'm like,
Yeah,
I remember that section, but not that section.
yeah.
You want to go right, I tell you to go left. It's bad. But because I'm always driving and I'm not thinking about it. So it's going to be good.
It'll be a big help for you.
Yeah, 100%
Yeah.
in my brain. So
So what is Austin's number going to be? Still 50?
130.
Oh, 130.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll have everybody watch for Austin, number 130 in the 4800.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of the youngest kids in there too.
And how old is he?
16.
16 years old.
It's
Yeah.
kind of scary. He's never been in the rocks.
Oh, that's awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah. Can't wait. We'll see.
Well, thanks for having us over to your shop.
Yep.
It looks like you're pretty much ready, right?
We got some panels. Just put the new motor in this thing. Doing a new power steering cooler on this car. And then just wrap some things up.
This has the new motor started yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is. It's jet boat stuff, huh?
It's badass. It sounds real mean for how small those tires are.
So, looks like the next time we'll be seeing you is on the lake bed, and
Yeah.
we'll see these things fully dressed with all the panels on, and kind of
Get everything done.
send you guys off.
It's gonna be sick.
And you know what I'd like to see this year? The same thing you'd like to see?
Finish.
A finish.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It'll be in either or car. I don't even care.
Any of these cars.
If he
Yeah.
finishes in that thing, that's gonna be a milestone because I've never finished in it.
Yeah.
So that's the running joke.
Yeah, give it to Austin. He'll finish the race.
Yeah.
Well, it's a week before King of the Hammers, and we were just lucky enough to have a little time to sit down and talk to Austin Thompson. Austin, tell us what you're going to be doing at King of Hammers this year.
I'm going to be racing in the 4800 Legends class in this car, and
This is your dad, Brendon Thompson's old race car, right?
yes.
He's moved on to the IFS car with all the cool kids and kind of dumped you off with his old car?
No, that's not exactly how it went, but
Okay.
sort of.
Sort of. Yep. And then this car used to be a 4400, right? So you've been in here working in the shop trying to convert it over?
Yeah, it was a 4400 car, and I have been in here transferring the shocks and tires and all that stuff.
And have you raced this car before?
I raced it once at NorCal.
Once at NorCal. How'd you do? Did you finish the main?
Yeah, I won.
So that's, wait a second. One time racing, one win. I like your stats.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm sure you're well aware of the fact that your dad has entered King of the Hammers a ton of times in this car and never come across the finish line. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm well aware of that, and I'm and I hope that I'm going to be the better driver to get it across the finish line.
Do you think you have what it takes to finish in this car?
I think so, but we'll see.
Yeah. Now he is riding with you, so if you guys finish, do you think he's going to try and take the glory and say it's because he co-drove?
Maybe,
Maybe.
but I think he'll be happy that I finished before him.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have any kind of wager going who's going to finish? He'll be racing 4,400, you're 4,800. Yeah, you guys got a side bet on this thing?
No, we don't.
Maybe
Maybe
you
we
should.
should.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is for bragging rights for sure, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything that you're worried about in the race? Anything that scares you? Do the rocks scare you? Do the desert scare you? Or are you just ready to go?
I'm just a little concerned about my experience in the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is, I feel pretty confident with.
And this car has a ton of horsepower, right?
Yeah.
So I can give you a little word of advice, and that is try not to use the horsepower in the rocks.
Yeah.
Because it has the ability to break everything on this car. Front output shafts, rear output shafts, axle shafts, you know.
Yeah.
Even with 37s, that is a monster motor in there.
Yeah.
So I would say take your time. The cool thing is you don't have to get out. So you get to a spot, you tell your dad, get out, and he is going to be dying.
Yeah.
It's going to be sweating out of his face. You know, he's running up and down the hill.
Yeah.
So make him winch a few times. Make him sweat. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Are you going to do any pre-running down there?
I want to pre-run the qualifying course, and I want to do a little bit of pre-running in the rocks.
Okay. And you going to do that in this car, you think?
I'll definitely do the qualifying course in this car.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know about the rocks yet.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we caught up with you before we're down on the lake bed. Hopefully we'll see you down on the lake bed, talk to you a little bit more in the race scenario, because it's going to be all hands on deck down there. But I look forward to seeing you qualify and seeing the two of you go out and race this race. Is there anybody that you would like to thank for allowing you this opportunity?
Well, Maxis is a huge help. So is SMT, and then my parents are obviously my biggest sponsor.
Absolutely. Yeah. And how long have you guys been working on this car?
We've probably started maybe 2 months ago, transferring it to a 48.
Well, it's so close to being done. I'm impressed. I'm stopping by everybody's shop, and most people are on full thrash mode, and you guys are really close. So good luck, and I can't wait to see you down on the lake bed and coming across the finish line.
Thank you.
All right.